Hey, GAP Math students, this is a video for what we call PRP 1 through 6. That's percents, ratios, and percentages, or sorry, percents, ratios, and proportions, objectives 1 through 6. So you will need your packet out that looks like this on the cover. Percents, ratios, and proportions, and we'll just call that PRP for short. And we're doing the videos and tests and things like that. So if you don't have that with you right now, grab that and or hit pause and go grab that, and then come back and hit play. So what we're going to be doing here is we're not going to be doing, again, not doing every problem in here. We're going to take a look at some problems in here. Go through just some of the main things, take some notes, and remember to get points for this lesson, you need to be copying down these notes, and you're going to send me a picture of that, okay, of your notes, and then I'll give you points for this lesson. So let's start off with, you can see there's 6 topics. The one thing that's not great is they mix the problems all up. So I'm going to go through some general notes first, and then we'll look at the specific problems. So just on the side here, we're going to look at, I'm going to go to the top more here. I'm just going to be looking at, I'm going decimals to percents and percents to decimals. So if we're going to take a number and go decimals to percents, okay, I'll call this just example A. So if we had one that you may already know, if you have 0.25, okay, and we want to change that to a percent, okay, to go decimal to percent, you make the number bigger by 2 spots, okay, or 2 to the right, okay. So you start here, you go 1, 2, decimal ends up there, it's 25%, okay. Even if you have more than 2 numbers, so let's say you have 0.125, you're going to go 1, 2, it ends up in between there, so it's 12.5%. Part of what we're going to look at today is numbers that will end up being over 100%. So your decimal might be already bigger than 1. Okay, follow those same rules. Now there's not another number over here, but you still go 1, 2, okay, and so you'd have 2, a 5, and then if there's any open spots, the 0 needs to go there. So 2.5 is actually 250%. Okay. Then the next, again, and if any of this gets too fast, hit pause, copy it down, and then hit play again. The next part is going to be, if we're going to go percent to decimal. Okay. Well, here it was make the number bigger by 2 spots. The decimal version is a smaller version, so you're going to make the number smaller by 2 spots. Or move 2 to the left. Okay. So if we just do a couple little examples and then we'll go over here. So if you have 75%, okay. Now if you don't see a decimal here, it's like saying the decimal's at the end. And now we're going to go 2 to the left, 1, 2. So it's 0.75. Okay. If let's say we have a smaller percent and we have something like 5%. Follow the same rules. 1, 2. Decimal would be right here. If there's an open spot, you put a 0 in there. So this would be 0.05. Okay. Let's just do one more here and then we'll look at a few of the problems. If you have, sometimes you have numbers bigger than 100%. Follow the same rules. 1, 2. And it ends up being right there in between the 1 and the 5. So you can have 1.5, or this would also be correct, 1.50. You don't need the 0 at the end of a decimal. Okay. If you had, I think this would be the last one. So if you had something like 2.5%, so this is different in a couple ways. No, you don't start at the end. There is a decimal right here, so you use that decimal, and now you move it twice. 1, 2. So there's an open spot, so 0 goes there, and you actually have 3 numbers as part of your decimal. Okay, so this is your main notes. Okay, that's a lot of that should be kind of a review. Maybe you don't remember or not remember it all, but now we're going to look at specific problems. And again, we're not doing all these. I'll pick out a few different types. So maybe we'll do 1 or 2 that look like this, 1 or 2 that look like that, and so on. So number 1 says which number can be used to represent 447%. So this wasn't a part of our main notes. We're going to use this into a fraction. Okay. Now what some books will do right away is say, and this is correct, they say that a percent is a number over 100, and then they go to reduce it. I think it's easier to do this. If we look at this as we do what we did over here, percent to decimal. Let's change it to a decimal first. Okay, so if we start right here, we go 1, 2. Okay, so that is equal to 4.47. Okay, so we make it smaller by 2 spots. Okay, and now with multiple choice, this should even be pretty darn easy. We have 4 point something. That means the whole number part is 4. Okay. Well, this is less than 1. It's just a fraction with the top number smaller than the bottom. That's going to be a number less than 1. This has a whole number part of 44. That's out. It's not 44 point something. 4 and some fraction, this could be it. And then 400 is the whole part. No, this has got to be the right answer. And then if you didn't know for sure, there's a couple ways that this one makes it a little easier. This is 0.47 is the decimal part, which is, remember, this is tenths, this is hundredths, so it's 47 hundredths, which is the exact fraction there. Okay. Then the other way is you could type this in. You don't need to type the whole number in, but you type the fraction part. 47 divided by 100 is 0.47, and then you would know that that's the 4.47. So that's the first type of problem. Okay. Next type of problem. We look at number 2 here. What percentage can be written as 1.47? Okay, so all we do, it's the same as over here. We're going, it's the problem up here, decimal to percent. So we just find the decimal, 1, 2, comes over after the 7. We made it bigger by 2 spots, and here's the answer. Okay. Next problem, number 3. Hold on 1 second. Someone's trying to contact me. I'm just letting them know I'm doing a video. 1 second. Okay, so next type of problem. What is 5 and 29 1/25 written as a percent? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, okay, is let's change this to a decimal. I know a lot of you don't like working in fractions anyways, so let's get out of that. We know the whole number part is 5, so you don't have to do anything with that. Now take the fraction. Remember, fraction to a decimal, you take the top number divided by the bottom. So 29 divided by 125 is going to be 0.232. 232. Okay, so the whole number part's 5. Again, make sure you're listening here. Top divided by bottom gives you the decimal part. So the 5 is out in front. 29 divided by 125 is 2.32. So that's how we got that. Then, to change it to percent, percents are 2 spots bigger. So we take the decimal, we go 1, 2. So the decimal ends up between the 3 and the 2, and you leave it there, and that should be your answer. So let's see if it's over here, and it's letter D. Okay. All right. So we'll do a few more problems here. I think number 4 is like number 1, but let's do this one because it's slightly different. So the first thing we did on this type is we moved 1, 2 to change it to a decimal. Okay. So now there's a few different ways of doing this. Okay. We can eliminate, again, with multiple choice, this should be pretty easy. We have 2 as the whole number. This says 20 is the whole number. This says 29 is the whole number. This is less than 1 because the top number is smaller than the bottom. So our answer has to be this. Now the way we could do this, let's say there was two answers with 2 as the whole number, we could divide out the fractions and see what equals 0.98. Or the other way is we could write the whole number and change this part to a fraction. This is tenths, hundredths, so 2 numbers out. It's 98 100ths. And then you simplify. And this is a review of fractions. If you don't remember this, it's okay. Like I showed you, there's other ways of doing it. But 2 goes into both 98 and 100, so we divide the top and bottom by 2. So 98 divided by 2 is 49. 100 divided by 2 is that, 50, and there's your answer. But again, you can always just check the fractional parts. Divide 49 by 50. Does that equal 0.98? Yes, so that's 2.98, which is what we had. All right, just a few more problems here. Number 5, write as a percent. This is a quick one. You take the decimal, and you just go 1, 2, and again, we move to the right because percent's the bigger version of the number, so you move it 2 to the right, and 76.3%. Number 6, I think that's this. Oh, we've only done one of those. Let's do one more of those. So we know the whole number portion is 4. Then we divide this part to get the decimal portion. So let's change this to a decimal first. So you take your calculator, 93 divided by 200 equals 4.465. Again, so I didn't do anything with the 4. I just know that's the whole number, so that goes in front. Then I typed in 93 divided by 200, 0.465. Now that's the decimal. That's not your answer. So don't circle A. Okay, that's the decimal version. Percent, we move it 2 to the right, make it 2 bigger. 1, 2. So that equals 4, 4, 6, and then the decimal, and with a percent sign after it. So that's letter D. Okay. I think 7, we can do it quick because it's really fast, but you've done these. This is the decimal version, even though it's bigger than 1. You just go 1, 2. So that's 842.6%. So make sure you're reading things right. That's 8.426%. So that's not it. Here's the 842, like that. I think this could be close to the last one we do here. Which one will represent? Let's see, have we done 2 of those already? Yeah. Okay, just seeing how many more we need to do here. Oh, we need to do some mixed number stuff. So these are the kind of the main things. We did one mixed number here. So let's take a percent to a mixed number. Here we go. So again, we turn the page a little bit. Again, I said we're not going to do all the problems here. I wanted to do another problem like this. This is which number can be used to represent 155%. So what we're going to do first, write it as a decimal. So we're going to go 1, 2, because decimal versions are 2 numbers small, 2 spots smaller. Okay, so here is our decimal. Again, multiple choice. There's a few different ways of doing this. Whole number portion is 1. Here, whole number portion is 15. That's out. This one is going to be less than 1 because the top number is bottom the smaller, no whole number out in front, so that's out. All right, so 2 ways of doing this now. We have 2 answers that have 1 as the whole number. So now let's figure out what the fractional part is. And we want it to equal 0.55. So this is going to be 1 point. So we're going to take 11 divided by 20. And that comes out to be 0.55. So that should be our correct answer. We can double check. This has a whole number 1 in front. And take 1 divided by 55. And that comes out to be 0.08181, and it continues on that pattern, 818181. So that is not the same as this. So that's out. There's our answer. Again, the other way you could do it is this goes 2 numbers out. So this would go over 100. And then 55 and 100, 5 goes into both. So you divide by 5. 55 divided by 5 is 11. 100 divided by 5 is 20. Okay, so that's the other way of doing it. Just making sure there's not anything else. Okay, change that to a decimal first. Okay, I think that's the main stuff. So for what to do now at this point, so there probably should be a couple pages of pictures that you should be taking. I should see these notes. So when you have your packet, you'll take a picture of page 1, picture of page 2, and then skip to number 23. Okay, so that's where you'll get your points for this. Then what I would do is try as many of these other problems as you need to. The answers will be after the last page. Okay, so make sure they're not in order. You have to find, like, number 1 here. You go to C, and you can obviously turn your paper. Then find number 2. It's over here. 2 is D, and so on. Whatever problems you're doing, you can check them. If you're not getting something right, you don't understand why, ask me a question. Okay, this will be one of our quicker turnarounds from taking notes into taking a test, because it is kind of review stuff. So again, make sure you are taking a picture and sending it to me in a personal chat message so you get the points. Remember, just copying these notes down is 50% of your grade. It should be the easy part. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know.